Good morning. I'm Carol Hunter, Executive Editor of the Des Moines Register, and welcome to the Des Moines Register's Political Soapbox. The first speaker up today is Jake Porter. He's a Libertarian Party candidate for governor. He has twice won for Secretary of State. His challengers in the other major party challengers are Governor Kim Reynolds, the sitting governor, and then who's a Republican, and then Democrat Fred Hubbell. Jake, you have the stage.
Thanks so much, Carol. It is great to be here. I want to thank the Des Moines Register for having this, giving us this opportunity to speak today, giving us this opportunity to address a lot of people out here. Also want to thank the Des Moines Register for their endorsement in the Libertarian primary. So that was the first time that a Libertarian has been endorsed. First time we've actually had a primary here in Iowa. We became a major party last year after the 2016 election, so now we're a major party. We get to have primaries, we get to hold debates, we get to do all of that, and the Des Moines Register was nice enough to invite us over to their editorial board and make an endorsement in the primary, so that was a great opportunity for the party. I'm going to speak just a little bit about myself, give a brief introduction here. So yes, I live over in Council Bluffs. I'm a business consultant, so I make businesses more efficient. That's what I want to do for the state government. I want to make the state government more efficient. I want to make it more effective at the things that it does. We look at, there's a lot of attacks going on right now, political attacks, partisan BS that happens. A lot of presidential candidates, I think, have been up on this stage, and I hope that everyone around here and works for the Register has, pretty tall boots, because a lot of BS being spoke, I'm sure. But I want to keep the attacks. We're not going to do any attacks today. We're going to talk about the solutions, not the problems so much, but the solutions to the problems that Iowa faces. There's a few issues that I think are getting ignored in this race. The budget gets talked about a little bit, but we're not really addressing the root causes. Iowa has 300 boards and agencies, many of which no longer serve a purpose, can be consolidated, eliminated, or made more efficient. As governor, I would appoint, a board. We would look over every agency that the state has. And we would go through line by line in the budget and find out what's no longer necessary. What are our priorities of a state? We need to end the corporate welfare that's being passed out. We should not be giving handouts to big businesses. There are businesses in this state that are not even paying taxes, but the state is cutting a welfare check. That needs to end. I think the tax bill shouldn't be passed on to the poorest Iowans so large corporations can get handouts and get to write the regulations that put small businesses out of business. Criminal justice reform is something that I think gets ignored a lot. I haven't heard either of my opponents talk about, so I want to talk about that today. Let's talk about criminal justice reform. There are tens of thousands of Iowans that have served their time, paid for their crime. It's time to restore the voting rights to those people. That is something that has been ignored for far too long. No one wants to talk about it. How about also our prison population? Our prisons are over capacity. Right now they're at about, 99% capacity. In a few years, it's going to increase by about 42%. The state doesn't have the money to build new prisons. We look at what we're prosecuting, though. A lot of it comes down to victimless crimes. People with addiction issues are being prosecuted. That needs to change. We need to help the people that have addiction issues and not be spending $30,000 a year to put them in prison. Mental health comes up as well. We should not close down mental health facilities. We should give people the opportunity they need to get the help that they need. Those are important issues. And there's so many things we can do. A lot of it comes down to also local control. And that's whether it be hog confinements, whether it be education. We need to make sure, I don't think that the state government should be involved in all these things. I don't think they should be dictating to the local governments. What they're doing right now is they're doing a lot of tax rebates, the backfills. And they're hurting rural Iowa with a lot of these plans that they're doing. They're passing the tax bill on to the rural communities. Last census, 70 out of 99 counties lost population. That is a real problem. At some point, we may lose a congressional representative. These things are the important things that need to be addressed, that we need to talk about. And we're not going to do it by, attacking each other, calling each other names, calling Kim Reynolds names, calling Fred Hubbell names. I wish I had Fred Hubbell's money, I'll be honest, but I'm not jealous. We're not going to attack him over him having money, him being wealthy. I'm going to say something nice about both of them. Governor Reynolds is someone that turned her life around. I think an inspiration to a lot of Iowans. Fred Hubbell successfully ran businesses. I think we can say that. We can say nice things about our opponents. We can be Iowa nice, and we can still disagree on the solutions for Iowa. We can disagree with it. We can have a reasonable discussion. There's going to be some talk of debates. I would like to challenge both Hubbell and Reynolds to a debate. Reynolds' campaign has not been contacting. We're not for sure. I think we're going to be in those debates, and I think it's an opportunity for all of Iowans to hear a different message, a different way. So I also want to talk a little bit about strategy and what we're doing in this race. I've got my Lieutenant Governor here, Lynn Gentry. You can stand up, Lynn. Lynn's got a bigger fan base than I do, I think. Porter Gentry, that sounds like a name of a country band, right? Now, we were going to have Lynn sing with me. I think we'll sing This Is My State. I think that'll be pretty entertaining. Lynn says no, and I was told not to sing, so we won't torture people with that. I think they'll kick me off stage. If I start doing that, they'll cut the mic. But what we're doing in this race, I want to talk a little bit about our strategy. So as a major party, we have to maintain major party status by getting 2% in this race for governor. That allows us to run a lot of local candidates, a lot of candidates for state legislature. We're running a record number of candidates. I think there's 33, 35 candidates going to be on the ballot this year, record number. We have over 11,000 registered libertarians. I remember when I joined this party a few years ago, people had all kinds of ideas. The librarians, the vegetarians, the librarians have a party now. Lynn has a funny story. She was out there campaigning a few years ago, and somebody said, "Oh, the librarians, I didn't know you had a party." She says, "Yes, we do, and we're very nice people. You should vote for us." Some of those misconceptions are starting to go away. We have built up a large organization. We have gotten a lot of media coverage. We are taking this message across Iowa, doing things like this, things like being in the debates, having our primary that we've never had before. We're getting all kinds of chances to do that. So your vote, is it likely that I win? That's unlikely, but one is, we can by voting for me, you allow us to maintain major party status. You allow us to put people in the local office. You allow us to build an organization that will defend your liberties. You know, the motto of this state flag is the greatest motto. It's a libertarian motto. Our liberties we prize and our rights we will maintain. I don't think we're doing that right now. I think that too many times we have ignored issues. We have ignored issues that maybe those people don't vote. Maybe they're less likely to vote for us. Maybe we're going to ignore that issue. Maybe we're going to use the budget as a weapon. That's what's happened in the past. Democrats get in power, Republicans get in power, and they use the budget as a weapon to defund the things that the other side likes. There's no common ground. Libertarians, we will work across party lines, and that's what I want to do. I've tried to open up dialogue. Democrats, Republicans, people that are apathetic don't vote. And, I want to be a governor for all Iowans. It doesn't matter what race you are, what religion you are, what political party you are, what gender, what age. None of this stuff matters. We are all Iowans. We used to have a great immigration campaign back in the 1800s. People moved here from all over because we did prize people. We had low taxes. We prize your economic rights, your personal rights. People moved here for religious freedom. They moved here for personal freedom. They moved here because, as libertarians believe, that you should be able to do whatever you like so long as you're not harming anyone else. You don't have a right to harm your neighbors. You don't have a right to harm your neighbor's property, but you should have the right to live as you wish. And we see things like a few years ago, there was the late Benton McKenzie. This is a cancer patient that was using cannabis oil. Oil that's not even going to get a person high. But we prosecuted Benton McKenzie, took his medicine away from him. Benton McKenzie died. That is not Iowa nice. That is not what the state's about. We need to reform laws like that are harming Iowans. And it's sad that there was a lot of politicians that sat there and they sit on their hands. They don't do anything about these issues. The sick kids are suffering. They don't do anything about these issues. They kick the can down the road. They play stupid political games while Iowans suffer. I want to put an end to that. Our strategy is to take this message across Iowa, to get in the debates, to get in and speak to as many people as possible. We're doing a bunch of parades, we did the State Fair parade last week. Lynn's been doing, I think, 4 or 5 events every week now. I'm doing as many media interviews as what I can do. I travel as much as what I can. Unfortunately, I still have a full-time job. So I have to work during the week. I don't have the ability to the millions of dollars to go out there and campaign. But what we do is we have a little bit of time that we can use. We have a support structure. We have several candidates. We've got a couple candidates in the audience here. Jules Offenbach is running for Secretary of State. I ran for Secretary of State in 2010 and 2014. Proudly endorse her campaign. She'll be speaking later on today at 2:30, I believe. 2:30 today, so come back to hear her. Brian Jack Holder's also in the audience. He's filming for me today. He's running for Congressional District 3. He's helped a lot on this campaign. Several people have helped out. Rose is in the audience. Jocelyn, they've helped out a lot. And there's a lot of stuff that we're going to do, a lot of good things that we're accomplishing. We're going to grow an organization. We're going to raise that number of registered libertarians from 11,000. Let's raise it up to 20,000. Let's really start to make some noise and tell the politicians in power that we're tired of this constant fighting. We don't need to sling insults. What was it? Fancy Fred Hubble. That was the insult that people were throwing around. Stupid. He doesn't dress any nicer than I do. We can talk about the issues. We can discuss these issues in a reasonable and rational manner. We can discuss the issues that aren't being talked about. And so I do hope that you will support me, and I'm going to stay around here and to answer any questions that anyone has. So thank you very much for having me. Thanks to the Des Moines Register.